Hello and welcome. This is Mousegunner, and we're back with some more Urban Empire. And at the current moment, I'm trying to increase the services that I have to offer in the different districts in my city. And we actually have a vote going up for that right now, with the current focus on adding in infrastructure to the different districts. I believe, if I remember correctly, we're adding in water lines to the first district. The big problem with that, though, is the costs that are involved in adding services and the upkeep that they have. It's rather high, and I'm noticing kind of a conflict maybe with the pacing of the game, where we're not going to be that far away from getting electricity, and getting gas lights doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, at least from the investment of our money and our resources, if we're just going to be getting electrical street lights and not too much in the future. But I do worry how much this infrastructure is going to cost, though. As much as we might research it in the near future, will we be able to implement it in the near future as far as affordability goes? Because you have to, I'm assuming, build an electrical power plant, and from there build the infrastructure, and then at the very end of all of that, we could build electrical streetlights or even a tram line. So it becomes difficult, and you have to pick and choose what you want to do because there's only so many things you can afford. But at the same time, it seems like we keep progressing and getting unlocks of more and more things, and yet I can't use the things that we've already unlocked. So maybe that's a problem with the pace in the game, or maybe that's just the compromise of the way that I'm playing it with a more right-leaning conservative stance. But in any case, let's go ahead and continue here. We are waiting for this vote to pass, and I don't think we can modify any other districts while we have one vote up. So we have to wait until that goes through its courses. We do have two votes going on at the moment. We have right to stand in court. This is for women, and it looks like this is going to pass on its own. And then we also have the modified district, which also looks like it's going to pass on its own. So there's not a whole lot I have to do as far as influence the different parties. So we'll just go ahead and continue on. The districts are doing quite well at the moment. We don't have really any demand for anything here, so there's no real need to expand. Oh, we're not going through time here. And we do have a couple things that we should improve, though. Health and average personal growth being among them. So one thing that I may want to do here is build a new school. We will... Ooh, right to stand in court, public insults, there we go. Public insults. Members of the Young Swarelian Party have been criticizing you in public, and the language they have used has been unpleasant. What is your reaction to their insult? Attack them in public, or try to mend relations with them? I'm going to attack them in public because I'm cruel, and, you know, this guy is, his background, he's not a very nice person. So the effect, we lose some goodwill, but we do gain some prestige. That's interesting. You managed to insult the Young Cerulean Party very badly, but people also appreciate you for fighting back. And we have a vote ready as well. Modify district. It looks like it's going to pass, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright. It doesn't actually tell me what it was all about. But if I remember correctly, we were adding in water services over here. Yeah, we just did. Now, I could add in a sewer system, but that's more expense, obviously. The water system in and of itself did cost us quite a lot of money. How much would this cost us? It would cost us $225,000, which I couldn't afford to pay myself, and then it would be $13,000 a month, which technically we could afford, but I also have other concerns. For instance, this city average personal growth. Now, did I just recently... I'm going to be unlocking universities, so that might be a good thing to grab for if it works the same way as the other school did, the personal growth. I think we also have another school. Let's take a look at that. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the services in general that we have to offer. So this is infrastructure. I'm going to ignore that for now, even though that is something I would like to improve in the city. So theater we have. And right now, fun technically is an issue. We've got a workshop, which does what? I guess I could click on it. No, okay. It's not telling me, oh, okay, it reduces... Does it reduce security? Why would I want to do that then? gives work to the unemployed. Maybe that's security demand, I would assume. Because that doesn't make sense. It would actually hurt your security. All right, well, I'm not going to do that just yet, although that is a cheaper building, and we could afford it. We do not have a clinic, I do not believe. Or do we? Yeah, that we do have a clinic. Okay. I could increase his funding. Door service to give it 1 boost in quality. Okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right, so we do have a clinic. Let's go back to Modified District. As a matter of fact, I didn't expect that you'd be able to do more than 1 service in the same district, but I guess that makes sense to a certain regard. Just in real life, you can have 2 hospitals right next to each other, practically. Okay, so anyway, we have a grammar school. We don't have any parks, but that's not one of the things we have negative, so I'm not going to prioritize it. We could put in a police station, but we're fine there. So vocational school would be the main thing that we'd want to build, because out of all of these things, that's one thing that will address one of our current problems. The only real problem is how much it actually costs to build, which is $750,000. So we're going to have to be a little patient here, but that might be the next thing we build. We'll have to see. We also have the ability to build infrastructure. We have this port, which only really helps here. The one thing I would like to know, and this is not really indicated in a lot of these things, do these things affect your economy? Because you would think a port would significantly impact your economy. Just like a railroad station, you would think that your industries would benefit greatly from having a railroad there because they can ship goods out, right? And you can also have people come in to shop at your stores and what have you. So you get tourist traffic, you get all kinds of stuff. The same thing with ports. Wouldn't that be a good thing? Because you get import-export of goods, you get tourists coming in, all kinds of stuff that you would think would benefit your economy, but it's not really indicated here, and it's kind of guesswork. And that's one thing that I think maybe could be improved alongside the other things where information maybe is not presented as thoroughly as it should be. But I make the assumption that building a port would help the economy. And if you click on this railroad station, I'm not really getting a great indicator if this is helping our economy or not. Okay, wins the election. So let's see where we are on the party support. So Physiocratic Party now has a decent lead on the other parties. Young Aurelian Party, I think that shift where less people would vote for them finally happened. So they're the smallest party. And then our second largest party is the Free Democratic Party, but they only have a couple more seats than the old Aurelian Party. All right, right to stand in court's about to come around here. Oop, there we go. And we have a decent amount of income, so it won't take us too long to get up enough money to be able to afford some of the services. And the problem is once we install those services, can we continue to upkeep them? We do have a little bit of residential demand. Ooh. The vote is ready, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we'll begin voting. It looks like it's going to pass. All 4 parties voted for it. And, honestly, that's surprising, too. Sometimes I feel like the parties are not really voting in the way that they should be. Because you would think, like, an ultra-conservative party like the old Aurelian Party would be very much against this. But they voted for it more than the youngs. Well, I guess everybody voted for it to an extent. The one party... these guys voted kind of the way you would think they would. It was more of a close to 50-50 split because they're conservative leaning. But these guys are much more conservative, and yet they voted 12-2. I don't know. But, all right. So we get that changing. Okay, limited liability companies. It's hereby proposed that legislation allow limited liability companies. Alright, so what does this do? Let's go through here. Doesn't really explain it, but demand change for personal growth. These are all seem to be positives. Demand for security, demand for social life, demand for physical environment, fun, health, so on and so forth. Now, honestly, I feel like this is not necessarily a good thing, because this is... Well, no, that might be a good thing. Personal growth service, most of security service. Oh, okay, so I think what's happening here is the demand goes up. The demand for what they're looking for goes up, but at the same time, the actual service goes up much more. So this is actually a positive for us. I'm gonna support it. And it does look like it is a liberal policy. Limited liability companies. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I would think that would mean that the companies themselves have limited liability for, you know, the products they make or what have you. But I'm not really sure, but I'm going to support it because it looks like it's a good thing. And it does look like it would naturally pass. And it looks like the conservative parties are more interested in it. So I think role-playing wise, we chose the right thing as well. Okay, introduce legislation for a new type of company. Imperial Council is debating the authorization of a new form of company ownership with limited liability. Oh, LLC. Okay, I got you. Would allow company owners to limit the personal financial risk involved in owning a company, thus enabling more people to found companies. The conservative left is afraid that this would diminish the state's ability to influence the economy. Okay. So we would be in favor of that. It looks like it's naturally going to pass, though, so I'm not going to really force things. We do have some businesses struggling over here. I could crank down the consumer stuff even more in this district, because we actually, I'm trying to get them yeah, see, we have less demand, although it did just shift. We have demand for residential, not so much.
Is the life of nations and of humanity. To seize and put into words to describe directly the life of humanity or even of a single nation appears impossible.
Okay. Let's take a look at our other tech. So we've got electricity. The only thing I'm concerned with electricity is I don't think we're going to be able to afford the infrastructure yet. So that's probably going to be more long-term. We've got this over here. This gives us a hospital, which we may or may not be able to use. We've got surgical hygiene, mandatory vaccinations, support for anesthetic pain relief, toilet paper, which seems like it'd just be good in general. And then we also unlock food stores. So that doesn't seem like that'd be too bad. What about over here? So we have some edicts, Livelihood Act, women's rights in school elections, secret ballot voting, and lower class barriers. We also have book publishing law and courthouse. I think we do this one here. Epidemiology, and start the research. Okay. Now that we have that, I want to take a look in the council at what our new edicts are, because we did gain a few, and some of them I may be interested in. So let's go to edicts here, and I want available edicts because they were new. So I'm not interested in any of these. Financial aid for running water, raise workshop wages, city curfew. That's new. Let's click on that. Okay, so it makes things less fun. That makes sense. Reduces social life. Again, that makes sense. But security goes way up. But we really don't need the security. We could do it just to be an oppressive asshole, but otherwise, no real need. A loitering ban. Similar effects. Increase security or reduce fun. Regulate gambling. Money that citizens can use on private companies is reduced. Okay. That, what, they're not winning? They're not winning money through gambling as much to be able to invest them in private companies? A bonus to social life, a service, that makes sense. And then bonus to fun. That doesn't make sense. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I mean, I'm assuming that by regulating it, we're allowing it to happen legally. So I guess I kind of see where the fun comes from, but then why do we lose social? Okay, okay, ban gambling. So we could ban it all together. Social life goes up, security goes up, but fun goes down. I find it interesting you don't get any income from some of these things, you know, if you're regulating it, but endorse national romanticism. This I might want to do, just from the standpoint of role-playing. Defining a nationally... Okay, yeah. So, bonus personal growth for theaters, which we have, but bonus to fun is reduced by 1. So we would trade a little bit here. I don't know how many people would support this, though. And this is liberal? Okay, what is this? So defining nationalism would allow the city authorities to create a stronger national identity. However, a move like this comes at the cost of artistic freedom and expression. I would think nationalism would be conservative, not liberal. That doesn't seem... All right, well, I'm not going to vote on it just yet, but it would benefit us now if we wanted to do that. But it would also hurt us now because one of the areas that we're hurting in is fun. Okay, so we have a couple of things that we can do here. We've got over 1 million. I could increase density, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. But we don't really have that much demand that I think it would really pay off. It'd probably actually hurt us in the long run. Alternatively, we could get the sewer system, which I think we could afford, which is something I was looking forward to. The other thing I could do is I could add water to the other districts that don't have it. Out of curiosity, how much would this cost? So much less to increase its density, but there'd be really, in my opinion, no reason to do it. And it's the monthly cost that really kills you. The only thing I don't know is I don't know how to drive these up. Looks like they never go up. And I'm afraid if I spend a lot of money in increasing the density, nobody's going to move in, and I won't remake that money. Like, I'm kind of waiting for these to go up. But if we modify the district, and we made this higher density, it's going to cost us $1 million to do that, and then $120,000 a month. There's no way we'll be able to afford that. Alright, well... let's take a look at the services. That's what I was going to anyway. So infrastructure, we don't have water here. I would like to have water, so let's do that. It's going to increase health, which is something that we need. And it's also going to increase environment, something that we are doing okay with, but it's always good to have these things. It's going to cost $750,000 to establish it, and then $8,000 a month to maintain it, which, you know, we have that kind of money, at least income-wise. So let's go ahead and activate the grid. I am going to have to vote on this, though. Confirm services and propose district. So we're just going to do a normal vote. I could have done a quicken vote, I guess, if I wanted to. But it gives us time to take in that income. So that works too. Okay, ease punishments for sodomy. I'm going to oppose because I'm conservative. But the effects, if we did this, brain power would go up in City Hall. Demand change for security would go up. But bonus to security service would also go up. So those are all beneficial. I'm going to oppose it, though, just from a role-playing standpoint. It looks like it's going to easily pass. Again, I don't know why conservatives are voting for that. You would think they wouldn't. Okay. Modified district. We'll begin the voting. And there we go. We got it. So now we're going to have to deal with the cost of that. And it's pretty much to the point where we're not going to be able to afford any more services anywhere else. At least not with the tax rate that we currently have. I also didn't really notice that much of our hidden accident. Hans Epstein, a Free Democratic Party counselor, is fond of cars, especially fast ones. While digging for dirt on Epstein, your assistant learned that one of his rides had ended badly. He had been racing with a friend, and accidentally ran down a child. The child survived, but was left disabled. Epstein has since been paying the child's family off to avoid scandal. What do you do? We're going to keep the information in mind, so we'll have dirt on this guy. But for now, we're not going to use it. We'll only use it if we need it for a vote. So we just got dirt acquired on the Free Democratic Party. I don't think I'm going to be looking for dirt on anyone else. Because at the moment, it doesn't seem like we're really fighting that hard to get things passed, honestly. Ooh, marriage. It's time for you to get married and continue the noble line of von Filzens. Your father has found you a suitable wife, a young woman called Maria. Didn't it already say that we abused our wife? And she comes from an aristocratic family and has a good reputation. Your father asked you to agree to the marriage, but it's obvious that he would not tolerate refusal. How do you feel? We could be thankful, we could be conflicted, or indifferent. Who was to be thankful? Okay, so getting married and becoming a head of family will give you more authority, and Maria is the perfect match for a noble-born mayor. Elderly citizens are impressed with the respect and obedience you show to your father. So, bonus to security for the elderly, and prestige goes up for Simon. So, is that a ticking? No, that was just a one-time, maybe. So funds are coming in rather slowly now, which I'm not particularly happy with. I'm more or less refusing to raise taxes any more than I have. Maybe limited liability companies will stop all these bankruptcies from happening as much. We'll see. The vote's going to happen soon. Alright, so I expect both of these to pass. So begin voting. Okay, so we get that brain power, which helps. And we also get the bonus to the security service, which we really honestly didn't need. Use punishments for sodomy. From now on, the punishments will vary from short prison sentences to monetary reparations. Yeah, and then the Pope's not happy about it. So I think it went from, I don't even know what the penalty was. I didn't pay that much close of attention, but a very severe penalties, obviously, to lighter ones. It's not that it's still a crime, but I'm sure that you can progress that. Just like women's rights, it progresses. It starts off from a lower point, and you slowly work up to... I don't think that our women can vote at this point, I'm assuming. I think there's a way that we can actually check that, can't we? There is a place where we check that. It could be active edicts. Not sure. Well, let's do the vote. We'll begin the voting. This looks like it will pass, but not by as big of a margin. Okay. So, big, wide, sweeping changes here. Okay. Effort to boost economic growth and increase tax revenue. And hopefully that is indeed what happens. So, active edicts. Business, citizens, moral, welfare, environment. Let's take a look. It could be under either citizens. Huh. For some reason this button is not. Alright, whatever. Well, as I said, I know there's a place we can find that. I just don't recall 100% where it is. Social groups, happiness, political support, districts, infrastructure, city income, business area, state laws. Ooh, could be state laws. Okay, yeah, women's right. So we have gone a couple stages through here, but we still have a ways to go. And we also have minority rights and so on. So there are, a progression of laws that we go through before we get all the way down to the end here. All right, so we no longer are negative with anything because of some of the laws we just passed. And I'm hoping we'll see less bankruptcies, but I don't know if that directly affected that. Okay, labor unions. I will definitely oppose this, and I will fight this harder. It is hereby proposed the citizens will be allowed to form labor unions. Do you? All right, so the effect is demand for social life will go up, brain power will go up, but also social life itself will go up. See, I guess for me, with a lot of these things, there's no real incentive to oppose these things. It seems like there's only really incentive to support every single one of these things that come up. It's like you have a progression of workers' rights. As far as the game's concerned, you should always be going for it. From a roleplay standpoint, I probably should have been opposing almost all of these. From a conservative, right stance, I should be opposing all of these. But I haven't been because I feel like it's not really the best use of my time. And honestly, when you see what the effect is, the effects are almost always positive. It seems like there's no downside to them. So why would I oppose them? I mean, I can oppose them just to oppose them. But again, if we look here, who's going to vote for it? I would have to work to make this not pass. So I'm going to do that, but I don't see how that benefits me to do that. And I take the mechanics of the game into account. So, all right. So the masses demand union. Well, I can't speak right now. Union stuff. And let's go ahead and take a look at this vote. So what would I have to do to get this not to pass? I probably wouldn't take too much effort. The two parties that are in the middle here are the two Sorelian parties. These guys are going to be a little bit easier to push, especially as I have a lot of political goodwill for them. So I will plead them. Plead them which way, though? You know what? Is there a way to get people against something? I just think I have noticed a hole in this game. If you don't want something to pass, I don't think there is a way to make it not pass. I mean, I will see. I'm going to just do it to see what happens here. But I guarantee you, if I do plead here, it will go this way, not the other way. Interesting. Now, I did click oppose. Voting starts soon, so you need to come up with something quickly to get the Ultralian party on your side. In your last speech, you try to win their approval with, "This is what the city most desperately needs. I'm sure this edict will boost the city's economy." So let's say we do that. Oh, okay, they are going the direction I want them to. So maybe that's why it always asks you which way you do want to go, oppose or for. When you propose something, I guess it's assuming that you're for it, but when they propose something, it asks you so that you can vote against it if you want. Okay, I understand a little bit better now. Because in the past, it was always just going towards approve, and I wasn't really sure because this is the first one I've actually fought to. I'm going to demand that the Young Sorelian Party act here. In your last speech before voting, don't forget to vote yeah. The canned responses, though, are actually opposite. So when I say don't forget to vote yes, I actually mean the opposite. Don't forget to vote no. Remember that this proposal promotes equality. I actually, that's not something that I would say, but let's just do that anyway. So yeah, they're going towards against, which is what we're trying to get here. So we did lose a lot of goodwill with them doing that. But I'm not going to try and push these guys, because I don't think that would work. And I am going for smaller parties here. So it's going to be tough. You know, because these guys are at extremes, I probably should spy on the Physiocratic Party, especially as they continue to win elections. So I'm going to spy on them. Okay. Well, that was effort number 1 to get it not to pass. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in the video here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.